successful, that all the electrical is working, because they do need access to electric and water, so all that'll be good to go for the event, so should move forward.
And it just, I think their concern was just to have, officer presence, and like I said, I was gonna mention it to the sheriff, but, I can meet with them, and then maybe we can get some constables, like you said, Judge, you get some constables out there.
I think, cybersecurity training, I think all those wanna hear, there's all the employees, we need to complete the training, all those, eligible employees that have computer access, those are some of the requirements that the state has, brought, to the counties. And it's very important, because if we do not have compliance, it does affect our grant applications, our grant funding, so, those employees that, do not comply may be in danger of not keeping their jobs, because it is very important to have it, and we can't, function as a whole county, if those grants are not available, because we have some security training that has not been accomplished. Mid-April is the deadline, so it's fast approaching, so I urge all elected officials, department heads, to be firm with your employees and say, if you don't pass this training and grant funding is affected, then certainly there will be consequences.
Judge, I will be sending out reminder memos to those departments who have not completed the training.
Okay.
Everyone from the court has completed the training.
Yes.
Thank you for that reminder.
As far as the commissioners, we've gotten
Yes.
Yes.
We got that reminder last week, and we all took care of business, so we're good to go.
Okay, good.
Also, the signing of the proclamation for border region.
Good.
Yes, that was a great success as well.
Yes, that was last week, Commissioner.
Yes.
I appreciate you taking care of that. And do you have any other proclamations this morning?
I believe so.
There's one.
I think there's one.
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah, one, okay. And then communication, well, the rain was nice last week, so I think the golf course from a distance looks good. How are the greens coming along?
The greens are coming along, I guess we'll see, after a week of sunshine, we'll see how the rain really helped us, so we'll find out after a week. But it's looking green, so that's what we want. We wanna
That's
see
a plus.
We wanna see that golf course look.
I mean, it is a beautiful park, golf course. I think, I remember you mentioned it, last meeting. I think there's two greens that are four hole and the 5 hole, is that correct?
Yes, those are pretty much
They're
shot.
pretty much shot right now. I'm trying to get, approximate numbers, and it's looking about $4,000 to $5,000 per green.
Per green.
To redo the whole green. But, the only thing is, we're gonna have to, if we go that route, we're gonna have to stay away from that green for about 2 to 3 months. So the golfers will have to stay away, which will be okay. I mean, I'm sure they're gonna be happy that
They've done temporary, greens right in front of them, so like they're starting to do something there.
Right.
Oh, there, okay.
So we definitely gotta move on, we're talking about it last week, and, we gotta take care of those greens, because we gotta upgrade them, so, especially those two that are pretty much shot, so we'll see which way the court goes.
Okay, any other communication? If not, we move on to public comment. This section provides the public the opportunity to address the Commissioners Court on any items on the agenda. Members of the public, if not, we move on to item number 6, approval of invoices. And in your packets, we have invoices from
March 1st to the 21st.
March the 1st, 2024 through March 21st, 2024, for a total of $1,389,876.40.
Motion to approve as presented.
Motion to approve as presented by Commissioner Solis, second by Commissioner Mendoza. I just noticing it's a substantial amount, but I guess the airport,
That's the
fuel
fuel farm,
farm
yeah.
payment. So that one, we will be, sending this payment out and then at request a reimbursement?
No, Mr. Montes has to check, or the treasurer has to check, so he's gonna ask for reimbursement, get the money,
And then send a check.
90%, and then send a check, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think, of course, the grant doesn't include the whole 692. I think it's 575,000, so, the remainder will be coming out of that enterprise fund. But that fuel farm is ready to go. I think we've got some items to finally fuel the airport up, so, it's a really good grant improvement. Okay, I just wanted to bring that up, that the majority of it is that one.
Right.
That one contract.
Almost half.
Got a motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Item number 7 is approval of checks issued, and we have checks from March the 1st, 2024 through March the 21st, 2024, and the same amount, $1,389,876.40.
Motion to approve as presented.
Motion to approve as presented by Commissioner Solis, seconded by Commissioner Mendoza. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. We're moving on to reports and presentations. Item number 8 is a presentation of removal of civil penalties from IRS concerning Form 1095 for tax year 2019, 2020, and 2021, and the refund of any prior penalties paid. And this was some good news, Commissioners. Of course, we were assessed this penalty, I guess a few years back, and we've been fighting, or trying to come with some agreement with the IRS, and it looks like we finally got there.
Right, well, we hired Chamberlain Law to fight against the IRS for us. Y'all put a cap limit of like $10,000 in fees for them, which we came out at about $8,000, so.
Yes.
And we were able to get our money back that we had paid.
So, yeah, so it's a total of 95,000?
92,
82, I believe.
yes,
What I was looking at.
which we had paid 80,000, but they were keeping, if we would go over, they were keeping that money, so they returned everything.
It's $92,580.87.
Yes, so that was a good investment, Commissioners, in hiring an attorney to help, who specializes in these type
Yes.
to help us out and recoup those funds. So that's good news, so good
Yeah,
presentation.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Item number 9 is a report from Zapata County's financial advisor and on the county's existing debt and tax rate. Mr. Robert Tigarina, good to see you. Of course, our financial advisor for many, many years, and we thank you for your efforts and.
Thank you, Judge.
and
Good
helping the
morning,
county out.
Judge Rathmel, Commissioners, members of the court, and staff. For the record, Robert Tijerina, with Tijerina Galvan Lawrence. We are the county's financial advisor. And the judge is right, been representing the county since probably 2003, so just a tad over 20 years. And I used to be as tall as the judge, and as tall as Rubinfo there.
For what it's worth, Robert, I think you look exactly the same from when I first met you back then in 2003.
Well, let me tell you, on a good hair day, I'm 5'7". I used to be as tall as there, but not anymore. I appreciate that, Commissioner. But again, here to present the county's existing debt and tax rate breakdown presentation. If you turn to page 2, on page 2 through page 7, we have the county general obligation tax debt. On pages 2 through 7, the county has the option and has the authority to be able to levy an interest and sinking fund tax rate or use revenues from the utility system to pay the debt back. On page 2, we have the combination tax and revenue CO series 2006. We have TWDB, Texas Water Development Board. So this financing was used 100% towards the utility system. And we have the principal and interest debt payments February 15th and August the 15th.
And this was, of course, for our new water plant, which is now maybe 10 years old now?
Yes, sir, 10 years old, pretty much. And again, actually maybe even a little bit more, but again, 100% of the funds were used towards the utility plant.
Yeah.
But the Commissioners Court has the flexibility and the authority to use your interest and sinking fund tax rate or utility rate revenues to pay the debt.
Yes,
back.
and we, of course, the revenues, that department has a tight budget, so the court has taken to use the INS fund to make these debt service payments.
And every year, the Commissioners Court, the Judge, County Auditor, Commissioners Court, every year you can change that. So once a year in the summer, when you set your budget, going through your budget, you can say, this year we're gonna do 100% INS tax rate. 2 years down the road, you can say we're gonna do 50% INS tax rate, 50% utility revenues. So every year it can change. It is not set in
I mean,
stone.
ultimately, we would like the water plant to make those debt service payments, but, it hasn't been the case for most of the debt service that we've incurred with them, so.
And that's the perfect flexibility you have.
Yes.
Again, is If you can afford it, have the utility system support all water and sewer projects, and let the INS tax rate support all the other projects. But sometimes mid-sized to smaller issuers don't have that flexibility, so you're able to tap into two sources of revenue to pay the debt.
Yeah, it does afford us that flexibility, which is important, or else if it was totally relying on revenues for, from the waterworks, they've had some really difficult,
It'd be
decisions to
struggling.
make.
Yeah, you would have to see utility rates increase substantially in order to pay all the debt back 100%. So again, you have flexibility every year. Now, on page 3, again, it's a series 2008 Texas Water Development Board financing. And we have the principal, and there is no interest. It's a 0% loan back in 2008, and 100% of the funds are used towards the utility system. Now, on
And this
page,
is work for, this is work for sewer plant upgrade, I believe.
Yes, sir, I
And
believe so.
infrastructure to bring in some areas that were lacking in sewer infrastructure.
right, it was almost kind of like not an annexation, but you're right, to incorporate other utilities into the plant.
Right. So that was 2008, and the first one was 2006, well,
Yes,
more
sir.
than 10 years ago,
And on page 4, we have the series 2013 certificates of obligation. And with the research I could point into that, it was more public improvement financing. So again, the funds were used on public improvements, whether it be for
Yeah.
the county buildings or the utility.
Well, that was for the complete reinstallation of water meters throughout the county, to the water work.
I'll
One
mark
point.
that one down. And again, we have the interest rate was locked in at that point, 3.75%. And on page 5, we have the unlimited tax road refunding bond series 2017. That was a refinancing where we, back in 2017, took a higher interest rate and lowered it into a lower rate, and were able to save money for the county. But the unlimited tax road bonds all started out with a bond election back in November of 2005.
Correct.
November 8, 2005, went out to the voters, and the voters approved $20 million of unlimited tax road bonds. In the summer of 2006, the county and the Commissioners Court issued 15 out of that $20 million. So there's $5 million left over. And I believe, talking with the judge and the county auditor, every few years, we have a conversation to make sure with bond counsel, Carl Parkers and Morton. I'm sorry, Winstead is your bond counsel, Winstead out of San Antonio, and talking with them to make sure the $5 million is here with the Commissioners Court. It has not been issued. You can issue it at a later date, and I know the judge and I will talk here a few years to see, okay, when the time arises in the next few years, when this debt paid off on page 5, the Commissioners Court.
We've got 2 more payments on it, yeah.
Right.
This year and 25, yeah.
Yes,
No, 26.
and 24 through 26.
26.
At that time, you can say we can issue the remaining $5 million. And we all know from 2006 to now, you cannot get as much project for your dollar as you could years ago. The cost of construction, material, supplies has skyrocketed. So again, you have $5 million left over. If and when the time comes, the Commissioners Court can issue that.
Well, I know that there's a need for those type of improvement road bonds, which what this funding was. I know the commissioners have definitely needs on many of the
Road
roads.
construction, yeah.
I think we could maybe begin the process of studying what streets are, to get to that 2026. You would recommend that we finish paying the entire amount before we issue any bonds?
Yes, sir, you can do that, and again, every year that goes by, and this is something that you see clear across the state of Texas, it doesn't discriminate whether it's water, sewer, streets, roads, school buildings, vehicles, equipment, you're seeing the cost increase, at least 10% per year that goes by. So it's gonna be, how much roads can you repair? And it's $5 million left over, and I'm just throwing this out there, no discussion with anyone, but say $1 million for each of y'all. How much roads can you get for $1 million? Not as much as you could 2 years ago, or even back in 2007.
Yeah.
So it's minimal, and there you go, and I believe your engineer can tell you.
I have a question,
Yes.
if I may.
Yeah.
Can, Judge?
Yes, good morning, Commissioner.
Hey, good morning,
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Judge, Commissioners, good morning. I was gonna ask, can that $5 million be leveraged against some type of funding from either TechStart or Water Development Board, where you do it as match? And so if you're getting 5 million and they say county needs to put in half, we then get 10, so then we get 10, and the county matches their 5 with those 5 million?
Well, these
And
were
then-
specifically for road bonds, though, it'd have to be road improvement.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too.
Yeah.
So if we get, like either
Maybe from
USDA,
TxDOT, yeah.
TxDOT, USDA, or whatever, somewhere
Yeah.
for road improvements to where can that be used for a match?
Yeah, I could check with bond counsel, that's more a legal question as a down payment,
But that would be
match
good.
contribution.
A bigger bang for your
Yeah,
buck, yeah.
can we put in $5 million of a down payment or contribution in order to get X amount more? That's a possibility, and I can check with Winston, Dan Martinez,
That'd be a-
and Juan Cruz to make sure and see if that's a possibility. But you do have $5 million left over, it's not gonna expire, and the term unlimited, it's just like whenever a school district has a bond election, you see unlimited tax school building bonds. Here, with county roads, it's unlimited. So whatever the INS tax rate needs to be, the commissioner's court can levy that. There's no limit, if it needs to go up, and I'm just throwing a number out there, 15 cents, 20 cents, if property values go down, that means the INS on the unlimited side, tax rate has to go up. If values go up, INS tax rate has to come down. So again, you have $5 million left over, and I'll check to make sure, and I'll get back with the judge to see if there is a legal, and we can issue this debt as a match, a contribution towards USDA or to TxDOT.
So in 2017, we reissued the debt that the county had incurred back in 2006 because
Yes,
there was a favorable interest rate.
Yes, sir.
And
Lowered
we
it.
ended up with 3% and 4%, I guess, the last 3 years.
Yes, sir.
So what are rates currently?
Currently, right now, we're, 30-year is about a 4.40, 10-year is probably about a 4.25. So again, going out 20 more years from a 10-year to 30-year is not much difference. We all know Fed didn't lower rates last week.
Right, but there's a possibility.
There is a possibility, and it came out, I guess, on Friday and even this morning. The Federal Reserve System is looking to lower interest rates at least 3 times this calendar year. So the first one, the first ease that could potentially happen could be in June or July. At the end of the second quarter is what some economists
So
are saying.
conceivably, could the court say, we can't wait 3 years. We can't afford to issue the new $5 million debt with, including the debt we're currently servicing. Could we combine, what we currently owe?
Consolidate.
And add the 5 million, and kind of keep what we're currently paying, and so the commissioners can make these improvements,
Sooner.
if they desire sooner rather than later.
Right, yes, sir. You can issue the debt before your last payment in 2026. We can stagger it in, make the first payment or 2 minimal as possible, to where if your values are going up, the INS tax rate won't actually come down, because we'll issue the 5 million and keep the INS tax rate from dropping. So we can make the payments gradual to where 2026, when that last payment comes off, the second year payment will kick in and make the payments level. So that's something we could do for the Commissioners Court if there's a need there to issue the bonds sooner rather than later.
Because I also know that the Texas Water Development Board is also offering a grant for flood infrastructure. And I believe that one's at 0% interest, and you can probably finance it for about 30 years.
Yes, sir. The Water Development Board is strictly, like you said, infrastructure, water and sewer lines, plants and needs. That would be separate from this one.
Mhm.
And the county has taken advantage of low interest rate loans with the Water Development Board, 0% interest rate loans with the Water Development Board. So again, if the need is there for the roads, and we all know, again, if whatever project that we kick down the road, it's gonna cost more. You know, we've never looked back 5 years down the road and said, you know, geez, I'm glad we waited to do this project because it's cheaper than it was 5 or 10
Yeah,
years ago.
and the reason I'm bringing this up is that if we don't fix the flood issue first and throw the roads, eventually we're gonna have to break up the roads to fix the flood issues.
And your engineer will know better than anybody exactly how to approach the water development board. It's a team effort. You have your engineer submitting the.
And I think the
intended
deadline
use
is
plan.
on the 15th of April.
The 15th of April.
So it's right around the corner.
There's part of the intended use plan, there's an application that you submit with the water development board, so it has the engineering portion, the financial portion, and the legal portion, and maybe even environmental, thrown in there. But it's all coming in as a group effort in order to submit that application to the water development board. And they do have deadlines throughout the year for
Yeah.
the funding. And there's buckets, you know, the best bucket you could get is a grant fund. You get a commitment and you don't pay the money back. It's a grant. Next bucket is the 0%, or a combination of 0% grant and then a low interest rate loan bucket. And then the D fund is their highest interest rates that they have to offer to loan issuers out there, cities and counties. But it's still extremely lower than if you were to go out and borrow the money on your own. It's still a great source of funding. Texas Water Development Board, USDA, there's some financings here down a few pages later, is also another key lender to borrow going out 40 years at a subsidized interest rates. The issue with USDA, it tends to take a little longer to get the funds and get the project up and going. Water Development Board, it could be 9 months to a year. USDA could be 2 years plus. So again, that's just one thing we tend to see.
Yeah.
And I'm being very nice when I say 2 years. It tends to be a little bit longer. But we've seen those work out that way. But if you turn to page 5, we have the next financing, 2019 COs. There was different projects at that time, I think some road and bridge equipment, compactor, water and sewer, backhoe repairs, I think a van for the nutrition center.
There was mainly equipment. Yeah.
Mainly equipment used for the Series 2019 financing. And on page 7, the Series 2021 financing, it was a landfill, and I believe, Judge, correct me,
Well, that was
golf course.
The golf course purchase and then equipment.
The equipment on that one, when I heard talk about the golf course.
Well, there was some land for a future golf course. Yes.
There you go, okay,
A
and.
couple hundred, I think 100 some acres, the county purchased.
Right, and that financing was in 2021. And on page 8, that's the total of your certificates obligation, tax pledge debt. Again, on page 8, you can use your INS tax rate, and you can use utility revenues, 100% of either one or a certain percent from one or the other to pay the debt back. And the Commissioners Court, they look at that every year come budget time.
Yeah, you know, so out of that $20 million debt, the majority is the water plant and the sewer
Right.
plant. I think that's maybe 75% of it.
And it gets to your point that how much pressure do you want to put on utility rate increases? So you have the INS tax rate to help subsidize that financing.
Yes.
And on page 9 through 11, these are revenue bonds. And these are through the USDA. Back on page 9, 2014, again, it went towards the utility plant. On page 10, 2017A, and on page 11, 17B. These 3 financings are revenue bonds through the USDA. The county is paying 100% financing this through the utility rates,
Yes.
not the INS tax rate, because they're issued as revenue bonds. Anybody that issues revenue bonds cannot use the INS tax rate to pay the debt back.
Correct.
So again, if you notice on page, I believe here, page 12, again, that is water and sewer revenue debt. 100% supported by the utility rates, no INS tax rate on page 12. Now on page 13, I spoke with Mr. Gonzalez and we pretty much put a summary of the county's tax rate from fiscal year ending 2015 to 2024. Columns left to right, we have the general fund, and we have the general road and bridge, third column from the left, plus the farm and market road, plus, and it's to the left side of the blue shaded column, limited tax, interest and sinking fund. The limited tax, interest and sinking fund are all the certificates of obligation, debt that was issued, not the unlimited tax road bond debt. So shaded in blue, the county's total tax rate, if you notice from fiscal year 15 all the way down to 24, is below 80 cents. And when we
Yes,
say 80
and
cents.
we're fully aware of that, as I formulate a budget.
And-
But we do, you know, even some, state offices, departments don't realize the confusion with the unlimited tax, road bonds.
Right. And you
Because I know, I
have,
see our tax collector there, and I know every year we get called out on it, on saying, you're over the 80, M&O and INS rate. I said, no, we're not.
yeah,
We're
there's
7
two
cents.
components, yes,
Yeah.
there's two components. So on the blue shaded, you have the total tax rate, which is your maximum 80-cent limit, and it includes the rates to the left. Now, on the right-hand side of the blue total tax rate column, we have the special road and bridge fund. That tax rate from 2015 to 2024, recently it's at 8 cents and as low as 1 cent. That is a tax rate that could go up to 15 cents. It's not part of the 80-cent limitation, and it's above and beyond the 80 cents. So the next column to that, now we get into the unlimited tax road bonds. And back in 2005, pretty much that year, the Commissioners Court, with the county auditor, we all talked about, okay, we need to do these roads projects, but we don't want to limit ourselves and stress and put the boot on our neck and do a financing that's going to be part of that 80-cent calculation. What can we do to go above and beyond? County have the legal authority to issue unlimited tax road bonds. So special road or bridge is not part of the 80-cent calculation. Your 8 cents currently, you could go up to 15 cents. The next column, unlimited tax road bonds, as the heading says, unlimited. It could be whatever the tax rate needs to be in order to pay the debt back. And we've had it as low in 2015, almost 7.5 cents. You know, and currently it's at roughly 7.9 cents. So the grand total tax rate on the right hand includes the other two taxes that are above and beyond the 80 cents. Special road and bridge and a limited tax rate. So again, when you add those other two additional tax rates, those do exceed the 80 cents.
Yes.
But again, the county has always done a great job. Commissioners Court, the county auditor, making sure you're at or below the 80 cents, and then you have the other two taxes which are above and beyond.
I mean, we certainly, had some revenue problems over the years. Of course, we've lost most of our mineral valuations and our revenue from those valuations. But we're fully aware that we don't have a large margin. We're at 73 cents. We can only go up to 80. So it's hard for us to say, okay, let's raise the taxes on our local population, because we don't have that much of a margin to raise. We do have a ceiling. And on the unlimited taxes, well, that does help us to a certain extent. But of course, then if we issue more bonds, that certainly burdens our local taxpayers. So it's difficult to balance the reality of wanting to do so many more projects for our community with the reality we don't have the revenue that used to come in. So.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have the values. Again, the values used to be higher years ago, and the INS tax rate, the tax rate used to be lower. But over the years, the valuations come down and the tax rate has gone up. But you've always maintained less than 80 cents of that limit. And again, unlimited on the road bonds, you levy whatever you need to levy in order to pay the debt back. And again, the Commissioners Court has always been strategic on what kind of debt to issue. We're gonna get into debt. It's been watered on board debt, the majority of that, as the judge stated. 0% loan, low interest rate loan. And financings you can't pass up. There's opportunities again down the road to consider a 0% funding. That is something you don't want to pass up if the application process opens up. The road bonds at between now and 2026, we can issue the bonds and layer in the payments, and then when that last payment goes away, you make the limited bond road payments increase in order to keep the tax rate the same on the unlimited side. Again, I know it's a lot of information. I appreciate this opportunity to present to the Commissioners Court. Like I said, we've been here with the Commissioners Court for about 21 years. It's been a pleasure and an honor. I left the business card there, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call. I know a lot of the dialogue has always been with the judge and the county auditor. And I know Mr. Gonzalez always said, every time he sees my cell phone, how he wants the audit. He's always calling for the audit. Why does Robert bug me with the audit? But those are things that we constantly have a conversation throughout the year, either on potential projects the Commissioners Courts are considering, and for sure the audit. And we all know the importance of the audit. We cannot move forward on any financing, whether it be grant 0% or the road bonds, unless the county is up to date on the audits. It's the same way with our income taxes. No one's gonna loan us any money. We go through a mortgage or a car unless we're up to date on our tax filings. And that's what
It's a struggle.
institution look at the audit.
We're currently current, but I'm, I guess the deadline is a few months away for our current year, and
It is
hopefully
a
we'll
struggle.
meet there.
You do see rural communities struggle, cities and counties, and we have a lot of clients, West Texas, further south, and along the border that struggle to get the auditor to come in. Not the county auditor, external auditor to come in and get the audit done. We see that everywhere, but you're starting to see USDA, the market, water loan board say, don't apply if you're not attending the audits. But again, I can't thank you all enough, and I wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a Happy Easter. I'm already fast forward. It's been a long morning. Happy
He actually
Easter.
drove down this morning, huh?
It drove down this morning, yeah, it's
San
no
Antonio.
problem, I drove down this morning, it was nice, pleasant, we had rain until Pearsall, Petula, and then it kind of dried out.
Well, eventually, we'll probably have a 4-lane highway, Robert, so that drive will be more pleasant for you as you're.
As long as there's places to stop and get a coffee, that's
Yes.
fine. As long as I got Sirius radio, a satellite radio, and a cup of coffee, I'll be fine.
And thank you for taking care of the county for so many years, we appreciate your
Very well.
services
Thank
to
you.
us, thank you very much.
I appreciate it, and again, happy Easter to everyone, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Okay, Commissioners, I think very good report. We'll plan on how we move forward and see what we can afford to do. But yeah, some options for the county is to make these improvements. Yeah.
Correct.
We'll move on to the action items. We'll deliberate and consider action. Item number 10 is to relocate fence encroaching on private property near Lincoln and Third Avenue on tracks 1 and 2 out of parcel Z-266.2-B. Commissioner, I put this item on the agenda. I had a visit from the property owner there, as this area is going to the sewer plant. And she showed me a map, brought in a flag of a map which showed that possibly the county was encroaching on her property with a fence. And of course, I reached out to our engineer, the consulting engineer that does work with Gonzalez, and I think he'll have a good explanation for us on how we can proceed. Morning, Mr. Gonzalez.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners.
Morning.
Yes, I got a call from Judge Rathmore to look into the easement that the county has on, what we call Sewer Plant Road. And they're on that part, USGS or IBWC, when they did the land takings, when, the dam was created, they created the town site and all the mapping for the town site. With that, creation of the town site, they also created, some, easements for utilities, for water, sewer, electrical. And in that portion there, I have a map that I'll pass around, and then you can.
Okay.
So how many feet of fencing are we talking about, Mr. Gonzalez?
Well, in that area, Commissioner, we have a 103-foot easement.
Okay,
So we're currently within our easement.
okay.
So,
So we're not encroaching?
No.
No.
We're not encroaching, we're within our easement, And I did go and did a little bit more research, and I looked at when the county did a project back in 1978, they did an increase to the sewer line from I think it was from a 12 or a 10 inch to a 15 inch, which is what is currently there. And that's there, the manholes are still there in place. At that time, in that project, I think it was an EPA project, they showed that the fence, the existing barbed wire fence was to be removed and relocated during that project, and then that, they did move it back, but they moved it back maybe about 5 or 10 feet, they moved it down, still within the easement. And then in that same project, they did show a right-of-way line for the south part of the road and the north part of the road. They call it the sewer plant road. I couldn't find a recording of the right-of-way itself, other than the IBWC takings, where it shows it to be 103. And at that point, that fence was relocated, and it was placed because we did install a new sewer line through there. So it called for the fence to be removed and relocated for that project, and I have a copy of that as well.
Well, so we do have a plat in our packets, Exhibit A, that, you know, the landowner brought to me. And it does show that barbed wire fence, I guess dissecting or intersecting that easement, right? So actually our easement extends further into her property?
That's correct. From where that barbed wire fence that you're looking at, if you look a little bit further south, there is an overhead electric line,
Yes.
OAG.
Yes.
Our easement goes just right next to that OAG line.
So so if the county required us to move that fence, it would actually have to be moved further into her property?
It could be moved to that overhead line.
Which we don't have any use to do that.
No, there's about 40 feet there that we're not having a need for it or a use for it. So we're only utilizing what we currently need, which is for our trucks to go in. We do have vacuum trucks sometimes come into the sewer plant to either help the sewer department do a vacuum on the facilities, and those trucks come in and out, and that's partially because of the line that got installed, the fence got moved, and also because of the equipment and the trucks that we have in there. But it's been there since '78 when.
Was she planning some construction or something, John?
No,
or-
she just came across this map and stated that she felt that our fence line, the current fence line, was intruding in her property, because if you see the property line, if we just went along the property line, we'd have to move it out almost to the middle of the road, our existing road.
Probably beyond the road.
Yeah, and I said, I drove out there and I said that the county, she alluded to the fact that she thought the county had built that barbed wire fence, which now includes some field fencing, and that fence is, I thought was an older fence, and Mr. Gonzalez said it probably was built in the '70s, and that seems more likely. So, you know, we're actually well within our easement, and if needed, we could
Move it further into her property.
yes, we could intrude even further, but of course, we don't wanna do that, there's not a need for it. But currently, I think we're okay, we don't, I would recommend,
No action.
no action, and not, I'll visit with them and say that we're well within our right to have, that easement as is.
Yes, and there was also in 1970, Judge, through research, I did find where the Commissioner's Court took action to reduce some of the 50-foot and 60-foot easements. But this was 103 feet. But they did this call for the 50 and 60-foot easements to be reduced from 50 and 60 to 20, which would be from the utility, if it's a sewer line or water line, to be moved 10 feet to each side.
Okay.
When it's going through properties, like.
And I see that on the plat, on her property there.
Yes.
It does say a 50-foot sanitary sewer, so that one was reduced to 20.
We've reduced it already, and we made an update of that map that you have.
Okay.
Because the family did call
So
us.
that is a 20-foot easement now.
That one going across it is a 20-foot
Okay,
easement,
so-
and we did already, I asked her for a copy of the recording, which I have a copy here, and that one, I went ahead and, once she provided it,
Yeah.
we went ahead and made the adjustment on that 50-foot to a 20-foot.
And that would be the line that's coming from that Lincoln and Madison, right, corner? Or is that-
It's coming from the corner of Madison and Lincoln,
Lincoln.
and goes across their property at 50
Yes,
feet,
yes.
and, that got reduced to 20.
But not the one that is being contested, I guess.
The barbed wire one.
No, because that's 103. So on that court order, it only said 60-foot and 50-foot easements.
Okay.
And so we did the 50 that going through their property, we reduced that to 20. But the one going, I guess, along what you would call Sewer Plant Road,
Yes.
we left that as is.
So I think we're good. I'll visit, with the landowner and tell her that, we, you know, we're well within, we're trying to be good neighbors, but we're well within our right to have that easement there.
We do need it to service the sewer plant and to service that sewer.
Yes.
plant.
So no action, Judge,
No,
on item 10.
okay, I've got no action on item number
10.
10. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez, I appreciate your help.
Thank you.
Yes.
Number 21.
Yeah, we can do yours. Yes.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that.
Well, number 12, we can start with, item number 12 is to consider a contract proposal for architectural services for the sheriff's office improvements from JSS Architect. So I think we wanted to take action, last meeting on that, to hire them to do the, I guess.
They're gonna do the architectural, the interior design of the facility. What we've done on that project is, we've done the surveying of it, and we didn't have any plans that existed. So we already surveyed all the interior rooms.
Okay.
And closets, everything got surveyed, interior and exterior. And then we've already now provided him that as a.
And this is for what building, I'm sorry?
For the sheriff's office.
This right here?
Yes,
Okay.
that's the, $660,000
Yeah.
year mark that we got, and then we have a match, $540,000 match
Okay.
from the county. On that one, we're gonna redesign the sheriff's office with that earmark, and we created a base map for the architect to then be able to make changes or configurations to.
And this is the same architect that we hired to do the fire department, correct? So,
It's the
so
same
it would be good that,
Judge, I'll second Commissioner Morales' motion to approve.
okay, motion by Commissioner Morales, second by Commissioner Mendoza. And it basically the same contract that, rates as we had with the.
It is the
fire
same
department.
part.
Okay.
He structured it exactly the same. I'll hand it over to the attorney, the county attorney,
Okay.
for review and then for your signature.
Okay, and, I think certainly we can, I know there's an urgency to move on this project for some funding, that is coming from the state,
Yes.
to make sure we obligate $250,000 of the match that the county is contributing,
Okay.
those 500,000. We did apply and receive funding for 250,000 to be used,
For that.
purpose, for the sheriff's office, so hopefully we can obligate those $250,000 first, and, so maybe this contract will be part of it, and then
Yes.
any other, I guess invoices that we can.
We'll have.
So we've got, a timeframe from here to August, to expend or obligate those monies, so I appreciate, let's move on
A
those.
little
and
bit
not-
of urgency on that to get it, within that timeframe.
Okay, so we got a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next one you have, Joe Gonzalez, which one?
21.
21. To hire O'Connor Engineering to perform materials testing on the EOC, the sheriff's office, and the fire station projects.
Motion to approve,
Second.
to hire O'Connor Engineer to perform the material testing.
Motion by Commissioner Solis, seconded by Commissioner Mendoza, and I guess these are older buildings that require.
Yes, Judge, O'Connor Engineering is a materials testing, engineering firm. They test for asbestos, for, other materials, and they will provide a report to the county to make sure that any construction that's gonna be done there has been already, complied with, there's new state rules on, new construction.
Okay.
And they did provide their estimates. Their estimate is for,
Okay.
1,610, and the other one is for 2,850. We did we only did the sheriff's office and the, EOC, yes, because the fire station is gonna be new.
Yeah.
So if
Okay.
we need one for the old part, if we're gonna do any improvements on the old part, if we have enough money, we'll request then, and then have them do that one as well.
Okay, so,
So
yeah,
it's for 1,610 and for 2,850
For the sheriff's office.
Well, it's important and required for us to be able to move forward, so.
yeah.
On the,
It
on
is a
the,
requirement under the Texas Department of State Health Services, and they're licensed for asbestos consulting agency.
we have an agenda item here for, what is it, Miraflores, Pelican Ramirez Street. Is that for you as well?
Is that on this? Is that on this one?
I think so. Yep, so we're gonna approve this one, a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Good, and yes, there is a,
What number was that, Commissioner?
I believe it was right after 21, before 22.
I don't see it.
I didn't see it.
It's right here. And then it
It's not on-
says,
It was on the previous.
well, it says to hire O'Connor Engineering to perform material testing on the OC Insurance Office.
Mhm.
And then you wrote it, it says table, station projects.
I don't have that.
Oh, no, yeah, that's that was last commissioner's agenda.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so on this one, I just pulled it, they have my item 21, and then that one,
I guess it got thrown in there as well.
Yeah,
but, I mean, while we're on topic, I've seen part of the work done there on Ramirez Street, it looks really, really good,
Yeah, this road looks really good, yeah.
Yeah,
we did, Judge, on that one, we did I'll be bringing a small change order. The project is to hold the asphalt together.
Correct.
And to, not let it continue to deteriorate. What we were doing, we did do a very straight line and a good match with the asphalt. But there is sections when we start getting towards the end where water was rushing a little faster. The asphalt was already separating and there was a lot of grass and dirt within the asphalt. The asphalt was just basically rubble. We cut out those pieces, and I need to bring that back as a
looks really good.
change order.
That way it'll be done right.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're doing it, correctly, so I'll bring those for an approval on the next
that's
one.
very good.
Thank you,
That's
Judge.
good, Mr. Gonzalez, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Item number 11 is to pay invoice in the amount of $6,000 to Luis A. Guzman for work done to a Peterbilt truck for the county shop.
We've been waiting on this for a long time, Judge, and I think the board had previously approved any, to take this out of where, I know we had.
Well, I know the road and bridge is tied, really tied.
This money, I think we had allocated 50,000 from the surplus auction.
Yes.
One of the surplus auctions
Okay.
that we had.
Yeah, I remember we had
There is
allocated, I wasn't
still-
sure from where, but I know we had.
There's still a
actually
little bit of
approved.
monies, that I would just have to move from the auction to the line, or.
To the line item from the road and bridge.
Motion to approve, Judge, for
Motion
the
to-
repairs.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza to approve payment, seconded by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 13 is to approve the estimate of Jose Romero for work to be done at Zapata County Airport. And Mr. Montes couldn't be here, this morning, but he did say this would be, from grant funding also, which, the 90-10 match. So that the total amount for, and this would be to have a roof, over the pilot's, trailer, housing where, pilots, usually can stay if they're there overnight. And that would protect the mobile home that's currently there. And the materials would be 5,400. Labor would be 5,000, so the total is 10,400. And, Mr. Montes says ramp funds would be used, so the county would be responsible for what?
5,200.
1,040?
That would be about 1,040, so the grant would cover 9,360.
Yes.
Is he
Motion to
requesting
approve,
any, anything up front, Judge, for this
I-
project? or-
He didn't request that, that may be coming, but he didn't make that request to.
The county will be responsible for 1,040, like you mentioned.
Yes.
Motion to approve the estimate, Judge.
Motion
Second.
by Commissioner Solis, seconded by Commissioner Mendoza, to approve the work done at the Zapata County Airport. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 14 is to approve invoice to CT Brandon Corporation for $14,350. And this, Commissioners, was for the fuel farm, the engineering, for the fuel farm. The project has been completed. I think, Mr. Casey included an outline of the charges. I can see it, it was in the packet, I did see it. So, So,
Motion to approve.
Second the motion.
motion to approve by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Solis. I want to see.
Is that the last invoice for the fuel farm, Judge? Do you know?
For the engineering, yes.
Okay.
14,000. I saw it in the packet where he broke it down. The fuel farm is operational. In fact, we'll have an item to begin buying fuel next.
I think this
That's
was
the next one.
designated as a contract administration, Judge.
Yes,
Yeah.
contract administration, all the engineering, and so that's his total cost for the project. So got a motion and a second, and of course, this will be sent for reimbursement before we pay out, I guess, the monies. So, and we did have the same with I guess 600 and some thousand.
Right.
Contract.
Yeah, we do the check so you can send that off here and then. he-
Is this the one you're talking about, Judge?
Yes, there it is, yes. Okay. So, motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 14 is to approve an aviation fuels contract between Zapata County Airport and Titan Aviation Fuels. Mr. Montes is recommending, Commissioners, that we approve an agreement for Titan Aviation Fuels to supply fuel to the fuel farm. It is a 4-year contract. I think it was 15 and 16 was the other vendor that the county was considering, and he is requesting that we award the contract to Titan.
Has legal reviewed the contract?
Yes, and Mr. Figueroa just wanted to make sure that the both agreements were comparable. One had a 5-year and one had a 4-year, so
Okay.
they're both now 4-year agreements, and he is
So he's okay with
recommending
everything
that we
else?
go with Titan
Judge,
Aviation.
I'll go with the recommendation. I'll make a motion to approve Titan Aviation.
Motion by Commissioner Solis to approve Titan Aviation, seconded by Commissioner Morales. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So that was included 15 and 16. Item number 17 is to allow checks from the Texas Veterans Commission grant to be issued the same day as the purchase orders are signed by the auditor and / county judge. Paul, good morning,
Judge,
sir.
good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I know we've had those conversations. These are, our veterans sometimes need these funds from, on the same day to pay their utility bills or whatever bills that we're helping them with.
Well, we get in the same situation as utilities, so we can
Yeah,
lump
motion
it in
to
with the
approve.
I'll second
utilities
the
and
motion,
just.
Judge.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Solis. So we'll advise the treasurer that, to help you out and coordinate with you, and, yeah, they can't wait 2 weeks on some.
Well, the sticking point was when he would bring it to me, so,
Yeah.
the treasurer will be fine with it.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Thank you.
You
Very
should
good,
share
you do,
the
sir.
info.
Thank you,
We'll
and,
make it work.
just wanna let you guys know that if you have veterans that, approach you, any issues, please push them over our way. A lot of times, because it kinda gets hard for us to pay them right away, sometimes they get a little antsy, because they don't wanna be late on their payments.
Sure.
And, So.
And I don't think we've ever seen as much movement from the veterans program, so we really appreciate the work you're putting into it.
Appreciate it, Commissioner.
The
I
services.
appreciate your support. I couldn't do it without y'all's support.
Thank you.
We'll definitely push them your way. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 18 is to approve the resolution for the use of the right-of-way of US Highway 83 for the Autism Awareness 5K Run/Walk to be held on April the 6th, 2024.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Morales. Any discussion?
Judge, just on this item, we are not gonna use Highway 83, we will be using a different route, so we'll be using Highway 16.
Highway 16? Okay, so we'll change that on the motion.
I'll modify the motion so you can for Highway 16 designation.
Okay. You wanna read the resolution, Madam?
So
That
that would be
one
for
is-
the following item, Judge, for
Okay,
the autism.
the following item, okay. So we got a motion and a second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. 19 is to approve the resolution and designate April as Autism Awareness Month.
And I got a little ahead, on this one, for this month. This one, it states, where April has been designated as National Autism Awareness Month by the Autism Society of America, and whereas autism spectrum disorders is a developmental disability characterized by persistent impairments in social interaction and the presence of restricted repetitive patterns of behavior, interests, or activities that can cause difficulties in social interaction, communication, and participation in daily activities. Autism spectrum disorder is classified as having a wide variety of complex disabilities, which include autism, childhood disintegrative disorder, pervasive developmental disorder, and Asperger's syndrome. And whereas approximately 1 in every 36 children have been identified with autism spectrum disorder, and the prevalence of children with autism has increased significantly and is the fastest growing developmental disability. And whereas a single cause is not known, but the need for early intervention services is essential and can help people with autism lead successful lives. And whereas National Autism Awareness Month was conceived to educate the community and celebrate opportunities associated with living, attending school, and working alongside individuals with autism spectrum disorders and their families. And whereas with support, people with autism can live full productive lives and make meaningful and important contributions to our society. And now therefore let it be it resolved that Zapata County Commissioners Court acknowledges the month of April as Autism Awareness Month.
Thank you, Ms. Nelly.
Motion to approve as presented, Judge.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Nelly. Thank you
Thank you,
for
Nelly.
supporting that organization.
And then she has another.
I have another item.
Yeah, number 20, yes, to waive the fee for the use of the community center for the junior ROTC military ball on April the 20th, 2024.
Motion to approve as presented.
Have they checked the date?
Yes, I checked with Ms. Laura and it is available.
I'll second that
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Solis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Nelly, and I think you're gonna get the whole court running on the 5K this year.
I look forward to seeing you. Ya tú vas.
Item number 22 is to provide court with a short update on P3's program savings achieved to date and to talk to our recent HB3 693 report and answer any questions about the P3 contract and our next procurement. Mr. Quinn,
Thank you.
good morning, sir.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. How you doing today?
Good.
That interesting conversation. Power.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to come down.
Good morning, sir.
today.
Morning.
Appreciate you to be here. My name is David Quinn. I'm the Program Manager for Public Power Pool. P3, by way of background, was a 501c4 political subdivision corporation that was created by Texas counties back in 2002 with the intention of aggregating the load of our members to drive down the cost, drive down the rates that we were able to get in the marketplace, and come up with a better contract. You've been with us since the get-go, since 2002, so I wanted to give you a quick update on our savings calculation. I was down here exactly a year ago in March last year, and during that time, our savings on page 3 of the presentation on the right-hand side of that folder show $199 million saved against the market since the program began. That is comparing the fixed rate that we have procured each of our contracts since 2002 to the market setting price for electricity. The important thing is for Zapata County, on page 4, we show you that of that almost $200 million saved for the group, 1.437 million is to Zapata County. And that is comparing, again, the rate that you've paid under each of our contracts compared to what you would have paid by yourself going out to the marketplace and procuring individual rates. Now, in the past year, last time I talked to you, presented here last March, that calculation was 1,243,000. So that's an increase of 194,000 in just the past 12 months under the current contracts and the rate you're paying right now. That's our calculation, and there are many different ways of calculating savings. And the PUC requires us to provide, or requires political subdivisions to calculate their savings against a PUC benchmark, which is called the polar average, and we show you that on page 5. Their calculation shows savings for the county that are considerably higher than our own calculation. You can see that in 2023, you'll save 290,000 against that polar benchmark average. That's a PUC's calculation of what it would cost.
What is the acronym for polar, what is that?
Provider of last resort. So the assumption there, Judge, is that if every retailer in your area went out of business apart from one, that would be what you would be paying to that one retailer in a kind of a monopoly situation. So that polar average is established by the PUC as a way of calculating how entities are varying in terms of what they're paying. So you can see there that their calculation, using the PUC's methodology, shows considerably higher savings than our own calculation in-house. So we provided that to you back at the end of February. All you need to do is make that available to constituents on the website or put it on the courthouse wall. That's publicly accessible information showing your consumption, your spend, and the savings according to that polar average. And that's really what I wanted to present you today about, just give you an update on the savings calculation. Page 6 just shows you how we do our procurement. Last time we did this, every time we do this, we send out an RFP to every registered retailer provider in the state. We're not trying to steer business to any one preferred provider. We want to make sure that everyone has an equal opportunity to bid on this contract to get you the best possible deal. The last time that we did this, we went through a very, very extensive process, sent out the RFP to over 140 retailers around the state. Then we identified a long list of qualified retailers that had the credit rating that we needed, and back office support that we were looking for to be able to handle a load of this size. This is one of the largest electricity purchases in the States, so we want to make sure that the people who are bidding on this are going to be able to.
So you think we'll get back to the 3 cents?
That would be nice, Judge.
I mean, with natural gas prices so low.
Yeah, we went down to 3.25 back in 2018. The market subsequently turned up. The last time that we did this RFP process, we secured a rate for the members of 5.7 cents.
Right.
You're doing better than the rest of the membership, given your geographic location, the kind of accounts that you have. So you're paying a little bit less, about 5.18 cents.
Right.
There has been a significant jump, even I think in residential use, the price per kilowatt hour has gone up significantly.
There has, and there's been a number of factors, Commissioner, and there's led to that. One is, the stress on the grid because of the ice storm, market distress because of economic factors. More recently, international events that have had an effect on pricing, on natural gas pricing. We do benefit in Texas from having a large amount of natural gas, so that really keeps a lid on pricing. And we're also leading the way in terms of renewable production, wind, solar, especially solar. Solar's going to be the big.
And how is that pricing? Is it, I'm sure it's more expensive than natural gas, is it?
It's about competitive right now. It's getting down to the point where it's competitive.
It's competitive?
Yeah. And when you go, the problem with wind and solar is the wind doesn't blow all day and the sun doesn't shine all day.
Right.
So we have, if what we're finding is a lot of the producers are putting in battery backups at those locations. So that for the times that the sun's not shining, if they have electricity in reserve to put on the grid, when the price is higher, then it really increases the value of the electricity that's being used.
I don't think the county has ever considered, Judge, putting solar panels on our buildings, right? We've never looked into that.
No.
Are any counties doing that you're aware of?
Some are. More counties that we work with are involved in energy efficiency and resiliency projects. That can include solar. But usually we find that a lot of counties are more interested in upgrading buildings, putting in extra insulation, putting in motion detection switches, things like that, to make the actual existing buildings more efficient. We do have those that have recently put on solar panels. We can work with mayors on that. We do not do demand side. We're a supply side organization, but we do recommend that we can work with third parties who will come in and install solar panels if that's something that the county wants to do. As I said, especially along the Gulf and going up to Corpus, one of the main concerns is emergency preparedness and what happens if a hurricane hits. So a lot of those members are more interested in putting in backup resources that will enable them to have that power supply constantly on regardless of weather conditions.
Backup generators and stuff.
Yeah, backup
Backup
generators.
generators.
And in many ways, the battery backups that we're talking about, which is brand new technology, and which is really gonna be a game changer over the next decade, is the similar kind of thing, is having a microgrid that is available locally, that you can control locally to make sure that you don't lose power at essential resources, at essential locations.
So you'll be looking at a 3 to 5 year pricing or?
We're in the market right now, Judge. We're not ready to make a move. If you look at page 8, we're showing you the current floor pricing curve for a new contract. If we were to step into the marketplace for a new contract beginning in 2026,
Okay.
this shows you the pricing that's currently available, and that blue line shows you the 3-year price by kilowatt hour for a new contract term beginning in 2026, so we're going to run through 2028. And you can see that's pretty high, pretty flat and pretty constant at about the 5.5-6 cent range for quite a while now. Natural gas, on the other hand, has dropped all the way down, and you can see that natural gas is the lighter gray colored line, was dropped all the way down to that 3 cent range. We're hoping that the cost of electricity will drop closer down to where natural gas is, because they usually track each other pretty closely. As you can see, they did until September 2022. Natural gas and electricity were pretty much tracking each other, and then natural gas dropped off.
I see that. Is that because there's less natural gas power plants or?
It's that is one factor. There are many different factors about why it's dropped off. Essentially, there's a lot of production in the Permian Basin. There's a lot of locked-in natural gas that's being put on the grid, and a lot of supply out there, and that demand is increasing. So we think that price may tighten up, but we're worried that the natural gas price may start going up rather than the electricity price going down right now. So we're watching this carefully. We'd like to be in a position where the electricity price comes down to where that strike zone is, because that will get you that 3 cent rate.
Yeah.
Which we would all love to have.
We're currently looking at almost $1 million a year.
Yeah.
In the utility electricity usage in the county, so
Right.
that is very considerable.
And the courthouse is probably the one that spends the most electricity, correct?
Yes.
Or the sheriff's, where would?
Larger buildings, of course.
Yeah, the courthouse would probably be
We have taken some steps, I don't know if we're still,
I know the AC turns off on the weekends and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
it's
so-
o'clock.
doesn't seem to affect the bill much.
Maybe changing everything to LED lights,
Yeah.
LED lighting.
Because your current total cost, Judge and Commissioners, is $925,000.
Yes.
This fiscal year.
That's significant.
Page 7 shows you that full budget report that we run every year, so you can say days based on your changing assumption patterns. So the actual cost of electricity is not going to pretty substantial rate for that. But the total cost may change because of adding the phone.
Yes.
So that's $925,000. Of that, less than half is the actual cost of electricity. The other half is your delivery cost. And the delivery cost is going to change. That's regulated by the state. We have no control over that. It's a regulated cost. So what we're looking at, what P3 is able to negotiate for you is that cost of the commodity, which is identified in that fifth column.
Yes.
$432,000.
Well, a lot of information, I think, overall, I mean, it does bring some stability to our budgeting process, being part of the policy, knowing more or less what it's gonna take to keep our buildings lit up for the year. But, yeah, but I guess things continue to have price increases in almost every aspect of daily life, including our utilities.
We've had a lot of inflation, as we all know, in every aspect, but, we do feel as if the generation source, the generation stack in Texas is got to diversify so much more because of, not just because of solar, but also because of the backup batteries. And that will add a new component in pricing.
To keep them, our prices stable, I guess.
Add stability to the price, in addition to which we are gonna have some more natural gas generation coming online, about 9,000 megawatt hours.
Oh, that's good.
Coming online, now you compare that to projected 83,000 megawatt hours of solar and about another 122,000 megawatt hours of backup battery storage.
Yeah, we're seeing some interest in those type of projects being built here in the county.
So while you're in the sunshiny part of the state.
Solar and battery storage also.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna, from here, from the valley all the way up to Phoenix is the most profitable area for installing solar in the country because you're getting more solar saturation.
Sure.
By now, depending on the part of the country. So yes, I expect to see a lot more of that. The political end of things where there has been some subsidization of solar and wind in the past has kind of become, let's say, equal to the amount of subsidization for oil and natural gas sources, for fossil fuels. What we're seeing right now is the market speaking, and the market is choosing solar and wind and battery backups. Part of the reason being that it's easier to install and it doesn't have any fuel costs. So once you come in, you put the infrastructure in and get that onto the grid, that's the difficulty, is getting it onto the grid. But once it's, once you're able to come in, I mean, the turnaround time of installing and running a solar farm with battery backup is a matter of months. Whereas if you're gonna build a new natural gas fired generation plant, that's gonna be years. So that's part of the reason why the money is flowing more to the solar batteries right now, because it's easier to install, it's easier.
I think you need all three. I really don't want a repeat of what happened with that ice storm, and I can't rely on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think,
And I think the government should help those type of projects also be built, those natural gas.
And I think the political message coming out of Austin and also DC is that we need to be able to balance them.
Right.
We need both. Because we can't be running the risk of any kind of exposure because of lack of generation that, makes some restrictions. So,
Well, always good to hear from you, Mr. Quinn, and I
Thank you.
appreciate you keeping us as part of your power pool.
Well,
So how many members are we up to now?
we're at 98 members.
98.
Now, the most recent member that just joined 4 months ago was Aransas County.
Okay,
Down on the Gulf, we've added 2 very large utility districts in Harris County. So now I think we have 48 counties.
48
around
counties.
the state. About 23 utility districts, about 20 cities. The membership list is all there on the page.
I think it's good to allow us some purchasing power, especially the smaller counties. So it's been good for us.
Well, essentially what happens when you're combining your load with all those other entities, 98 other entities, and you get a significant reduction in your cost of electricity. You're saving about 1/3 to 1/2 cent per kilowatt hour. You're really getting close to the cost of wholesale.
Yes.
So we're happy to keep on doing this. We're glad that you're continuing on as a member through 8 procurements now.
Yes.
And I look forward to coming back when we're ready to do another procurement.
That would be 25 or 26?
26.
Well, the current contract expires at the end of 25, beginning of 26. So sometime over the next 18 months, maybe we can come.
That's right.
So when we do, we'll send procurement proposals, we always do, give it the 60-day window to be able to review, decide if we want to continue on as part of the group. And I look forward to coming back and talking to you about what we see in terms of pricing at that time.
Very Very good.
Some markets are constantly changing, and let's say the day may be different tomorrow, so.
Thank
We want to
you.
give it the stability, that you need to be able to make those decisions, and if you have any questions, or if you need any additional information or analysis, just let me know.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Quinn.
you.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time, thank you.
Highlights. Highlights.
Item number 23 is to approve the use of Zapata County Community Center on April the 5th, 2024, from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the Zapata County Independent School District MD Anderson Cervical Cancer Workshop and Free Screening.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Mendoza, seconded by Commissioner Solis. And yes, so that the date is available, and I think they've been advertising for that day. So this is, yeah, so we're just ratifying, and that's, appreciate the school district for making this available to the entire public. So,
Yes.
got a motion, a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We've got a resolution and proclamation, item number 24. And this would be an ordinance electing to have the Public Utility Commission of Texas exercise exclusive original jurisdiction over electric utility rates, operations, and services within Zapata County. Commissioners, it's been several years that we've been working. Of course, the county has many right-of-ways and easements that the utility companies have been using to supply energy to our residents. Because we have ordinance-making powers, we are available to enact a franchise fee for the use of our easements by these companies. And, you know, going back and forth with, you know, primarily AEP over the years, and visiting, consulting with Mr. Uribe on this, they are recommending that the Commissioners Court approve this resolution and have the Public Utility Commission set those rates. There are options where we could deny this and have the county exercise our right to impose our own rates, which I don't think we have a lot of expertise on. And this would allow the Public Utility Commission to set the rates, and then we would be entitled to
Revenue.
some franchise fees.
And at the same time, stay current with what.
Stay current, and,
with the rates there, the going rates.
Yes, and you're looking at, I think, speaking with representatives from AEP, they are prepared to maybe as soon as the next Commissioners Court meeting to bring in bring in the payments, and there'll be a monthly fee that will be coming to the county, and it is substantial, I believe, from 20 to 30, depending on the fees, from 20 to 30,000 a month that the county may be receiving.
Are we getting back payment?
Well,
Back pay.
I guess we
pay.
could sue to get back.
150 years back.
But I think since going from zero to what we're gonna
Correct.
receive, I think it's.
Motion to approve the ordinances.
Motion by Commissioner Mendoza to approve the ordinance, and we'll go ahead and read the ordinance, seconded by Commissioner Solis. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. I think we will need your signatures, Commissioners, on the ordinance. Do we have the original document? Yes. Okay.
Are we gonna read out the ordinance?
It's long.
It's a little lengthy.
So,
It'll be
yeah, I'll
available.
read it out for the public. This is an ordinance electing to have the Public Utility Commission of Texas exercise exclusive original jurisdiction over electric utility rates, operations, and services within Zapata County, a county exercising its type A municipal powers, providing for an effective date, providing for the notice of this ordinance to the Public Utility Commission of Texas, and finding and determining that the meeting at which the ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. Whereas provisions made in section 33.002 of the Public Utility Regulatory Act, Title II, Texas Utility Code, whereby a municipality may elect to have the Public Utility Commission of Texas exercise exclusive original jurisdiction over electric utility rates, operations, and services in the municipality by ordinance. Whereas the Public Utility Commission of Texas is well equipped to regulate the electric utility rates, operations, and services of electric utilities within this entity or municipality in keeping with the best interest of the consumers and electric utilities, and whereas since 2003, under local government code section 81.033, a county with a population greater than 7,500 located within 100 miles of an international border and without an incorporated territory of a municipality may exercise the powers of a governing body of a type A general law municipality if the exercise of these powers is approved at an election held in the county for that purpose, and whereas the county of Zapata became authorized to exercise municipal powers in 2004, and whereas the governing body of this county, after thoroughly considering the matter, is in the opinion that the best interests of this county will be served by having the Public Utility Commission of Texas exercise the exclusive original jurisdiction over the electric utility rates, operations, and services. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the Commissioners Court of the County of Zapata, Texas, that Section 1, that the governing body of this county does hereby elect to have the Public Utility Commission of Texas exercise exclusive original jurisdiction over electric utility rates, operations, and services within the county. Section 2, that this ordinance shall become effective and that the Public Utility Commission of Texas shall exercise the exclusive original jurisdiction over said electric utility rates, operations, and services on and after the date of passage thereof. Section 3, that it is hereby officially found and determined at the meeting of which this ordinance is passed is open to the public and as required by law, and that the public notice of the time, place, and purpose of said meeting was given as required. And Section 4, that the clerk of the County of Zapata shall give notice of this ordinance to the Public Utility Commission of Texas by forwarding a certified copy of the same to the Public Utility Commission of Texas upon passage of this ordinance. Passed and approved at a regular meeting of the Commissioners Court of Zapata County on this 25th day of March 2024.
Motion to adjourn, Judge?
Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Mendoza, second by Commissioner Solis. We're now adjourned. Please leave the signature, Commissioners, before you leave.
Judge, are we ever gonna make